right in the kisser.
How the devil are you? Why I order? To the moon. Anyway, so we're talking about Bosch today, the series Bosch, and also the second series where he plays a private detective, Bosch Legacy, which I actually prefer over Bosch, and I loved Bosch. Controversial, I know. And Titus Welliver plays a fantastic role. I think he's born for that role. It's just I couldn't watch it without him in it. And it's supposed to be the final season. No, I hope not. Please, no. Anyway, but in Bosch, in the series Bosch, he has two hi-fi systems. One in his home in Bosch, and now in Bosch Legacy, he has one in his office. Now, a lot of people have spoke about the system he has at home, but no one has said anything much about the system he has in his office. I couldn't find anything on it. So I've done the research and found out what equipment he has. But I want to talk about both systems, one in his home first, then the one in the office, okay? Before we start though, Bosch does like a bit of a drink, as you can tell on the series, and smoking, no smoking, but he does like a bit of a drink. I think his favourite drink is a dirty vodka martini. However, he is quite partial to a whiskey every now and again. I think it's a bourbon he likes. Now, I like a whiskey now and again, you know, moderate drinking though, moderately. I am quite partial to a bourbon myself, or a sour mash. I do like them. What other whiskey do I like? It's Jameson's, the Irish blended whiskey. That's a really nice whiskey. But my favourite whiskey of all is this one. Okay. Now it is a Friday. Okay, it is a Friday, so it's where I do my little drink. I might go for my beers of Wales, but this week it's a whiskey. And this is Penderyn whiskey. It's a single malt. I've only got a small one. I can't afford a big one. It's not cheap. Okay. It's a single malt, and this is the Madeira. Now, I don't think you can get Madeira much in big bottles anymore. That's why I got it in the small, not because I can't afford it. Wink, wink. Madeira is lovely. I think it was distilled in caskets, which had oranges in them or something like that. I don't know, but you can't get the caskets anymore. So it's quite not often you can get this in a big bottle. Yeah, it's a single malt. It's from the Penderyn distillery up near Brecon. It's about 40 minutes north from me, not far away. I did have a voucher to go there, and I bloody forgot about it. And the voucher expired. I was gutted because I really wanted to go. They give you free whiskey, man. What the hell? Wife can drive home. Anyway, I've got this little Penderyn whiskey glass. It's a tasting glass, okay? So let's pour it into there. Let's get it open. If I can open the bottle. There we go. Oh. It's only 40 ml or 40 centilitres, so it's not a lot. It's about a double, I reckon. Oh, check that out. Yes, I'm getting notes of citrus. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just want to swing it back. Anyway, cheers, chin chin and all that. Oh, wow. Wow. Now, I may be biased because this is made in my home country, but my father-in-law's from London, and he loves this as well. So it's a very, very nice whiskey. I can thoroughly recommend it from the Penderyn distillery. Here we go. One more sip, just one more. I don't want to have too many, otherwise I won't be able to finish this video. Oh, wow. That is the dogs, doodahs. Right. Anyway, so before I start, I just want you to know that I'm a very close friend of Titus Welliver. I mean, I've liaised with him about his hi-fi equipment, and he's recommended speaker wires to me, which I didn't think were very good. You don't believe me, do you? You don't believe... I'll give him a call then. I'll give him a call. Hang on a minute. I'll call him now. I got him on speed dial. Now, the weird thing is, he still likes to refer to himself as Bosch, even when you're calling on a private call. It's a weird thing, but that's just his thing, isn't it? Anyway, I'll give him a call now. Ringing.
Bosch.
Oh, hi, mate. Yeah, just giving him a call. Was it you who recommended those expensive speaker wires? You said the speaker wires, more expensive speaker wires, are better.
I never say that, ever.
Oh, okay, because I tried them and they don't sound any better than normal 12 gauge oxygen-free copper cables.
Told you so.
Ah, fair enough, mate. Well, okay, well, I'll see you soon anyway. By the way, try and drive hands-free, yeah? Okay? Flipping heck, dangerous doing it like that. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye. 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 Bye-bye. Bye. 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 Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. He's gone. There you go. We're going to put that. There you go. Best friends like that. So, what I'm going to do is go through his home system first and look at all the components, and then we're going to look at his office system and go through all the components there. Right, let's start with the turntable. So it looks like he has a Marantz Model 6300 in his gaff. It's a direct drive with an S-shaped tone arm. I think it's semi-automatic, not fully automatic. I think it'll just come back if you set it to semi-automatic. And this came out in around about 1976. There was a bit of a hodgepodge of stuff he has. Some of it's from the 60s, some of it's from the 70s, some of it's from the 80s. And if you look at the next photo, so you can see here, we've got, it's either manual or auto. So, and again, I think it's only semi-automatic if you set it to auto. You've got your selector here, 4533, and you've got pitch control as well. So if you find you're looking at that and the pitch is out, you can adjust these buttons here to change the pitch. That's pretty cool. And it's a very nice looking turntable as well. Lovely. Right, this is the MX110 stereophonic tuner and preamplifier. So on the left here, start up here, we've got the volume and the tuning control here. Okay, this is a preamp, remember. So you've got your input selector here, auxiliary, MPX, FM, 2 phono stages, pretty sweet, and tape here. Now MPX, it stands for a multiplex decoder. I think that's pretty standard in FM transmissions these days, I think. But back then, not so much. So essentially, they would do a stereo multiplex broadcast. It was broadcast as a single signal and then decoded into stereo by the amp. Now this came out in 1960, I believe. So a lot going on with it for 1960, flipping heck. You've got bass and treble controls, but not just any old bass and treble controls. Oh no, not with McIntosh. So if you notice, it's got 2 knobs here. So the center knob controls the left channel, okay, and the outer ring controls the right channel. So if I think, oh, my left channel's a little bit bassy, I can turn the left channel down here, okay, and leave the right channel as it is. And I think, oh, the right channel's a little bit too trebly over in that corner. I can adjust it, you know, adjust it a little bit on the right side. So that's really clever. Something I think modern amps could do with. Be really good. You know, say if you got like, sometimes you've got an alcove or something and one side of the room sounds a bit boomy, so you could adjust the bass accordingly. So that's pretty cool. There you got muting here. Looks like it got high pass, low pass filters. Your balance, on off switch. Got a loudness button here. Tape monitor, so you can monitor your tape when it's recording. And then you've got phase then, 0 to 180, like you see on modern subwoofers today. Now, this here is what the deuce. So I got this here to show you what it is. So it looks like you can adjust this knob here to have the left to left and right. So this position connects the left input to both amplifiers and loudspeaker. And if you want right to left and right, this connects the right input to both amplifiers and loudspeaker. Then you've got stereo reverse. Basically reverse is the right to the left to the right. Stereo speaks for itself, mono. Then you got left plus right to left. And this adds the left input to the to the right input by paralleling and connecting the left and the right to the left loudspeaker. And then we got left plus right to right. This mode selector LNR adds to the left input to the right. Blimey. And there you can see some of the inside. It would have a cover on this, I believe. That's your pre-out. That would go to your power amplifier, tape in. Got your ground screw over here. Weird place to have the phono stage over there. Have the phono stages over here and the ground screw there. But there we are. Left and right output there as well. Then you've got your switched and unswitched. I believe these would connect to external and another appliance, another device, so you could power them without having to plug them into an outlet. Antennas here, tape monitor, auxiliary, tape in 1, phono stages. Then we have the McIntosh MC240 power amp. This is in 1960. Okay, about 1960, ran for a couple of years. You can see there's a tube amp. And what we got here, so you've got the 8-pin socket or octal tube output there. You don't see them these days. You can change your voltage here. Obviously not made for Europe with that voltage. Got the balance there, and you got gain for left and right channel. Phono inputs here, RCA inputs there. And you got a gain when you have it in mono, because you can use this as a mono amp. What the deuce? You can flip that over and you can have it into mono, but you have to make sure you wire these up correctly, these speaker outputs here, which I'll show you here. Okay, so you can see a diagram here. So it says connect one speaker lead to the screw marked left.com and the other to, and it's got there. So if it's got an 8 ohm speaker, I believe I'm saying this right now, so you would wire it, you put one wire here, left com and right com, and the other one left 16 and right 16, there and there. I believe that's correct. So let me know if I'm not. And then you've got the Ohm Walsh 4 speakers. These came out 85, I believe, around about there-ish. The omnidirectional speakers. And on the back, they have 3 buttons on the back you can change. You can adjust the bass, treble and mid-range according to your room. So if you find that they're a bit too bassy, you can adjust it with the button there. A bit too mid forward, or you can bring the mids back a little bit, and the same with the treble. So quite clever. You can see the inside of it. If you want to pause this, you can, to read through what bits are what on here. You can see where's that sub-bass activator we were just talking about. The perspective for control, I think, was it said stereo image, but I think it's something to do with the mid-range. And you can see number 2 down here. It's a downward firing speaker, and that would radiate out then all around to give you that omnidirectional sound. I think that's a super tweeter on the top, is it? Yeah, it's a super tweeter on the top. And it looks like a downward firing port, number 6, what do you call it? Vent, they called it then, but it's a bass port. And there's your board there. Some bracing, some acoustic insulation here. So it looked like it was well braced, well made speaker. I would love to have a listen to those to see how they sound. I'm not sure how good it would perform though, because there's a good bit of kit he's got there. But how well would it perform with all that glass he's got going around? Maybe that's why he needs omnidirectional speakers. I don't know. But I would put up some curtains. Right, so there's this home system. Very nice system, I think. Would love to have a listen to that. Anyway, let's have a look around his office system, because in season 3 he's got a hi-fi set up in his office, and I was interested what components there were there, and I couldn't find any information on it, so I researched it myself. Anyway, here it is. Let's start with the turntable again. So at first I thought it was a TD146. However, if you look at here, the TD146 has markings here, and the turntable in the series didn't. So I thought, I got to rule that one out. And also, his colleague comes in. So Bosch is there looking all pensive, drinking a bourbon, and his colleague comes in, and the record is finished, but it's going at the end of the record. It doesn't return on its own. Well, the TD146 is semi-automatic, so the arm would have returned. So then I thought it might be a TD166 Mark V, but the Mark V has different buttons on it. So I believe it's a TD166 Mark II, came out in 1976. And it's a belt-driven turntable. Now, interestingly enough, in the series, the stylus they have on it is an Audio-Technica ATN91, which is a £16 stylus, a 16 quid stylus. It's not an expensive stylus at all. So at first glance you go, what the hell? But then if you think about it, he tends to play old records. And the ATN91 is a conical stylus. So a conical stylus is better for playing older damaged records. It doesn't sit so deep in the groove, so it doesn't pick up so many clicks and pops and scratches. So I think they've done their research there, really. It may have just been on there by coincidence, but it makes sense if it's got a conical stylus on there rather than an elliptical, because he plays older records. So that's what I think they did it, potentially. Now, the speakers, let's go to the speakers. Now, so I wasn't 100% sure with the speakers. Now, they're definitely Wharfedale Dentons, but I wasn't sure whether it's the modern Dentons or the original 1970s Dentons. So I'll show you what I mean here. So here's a picture. That's the picture from the TV series. And by the way, this clip was taken from season 3, episode 6 of Bosch Legacy, around the 7-minute mark, if you want to have a look at that. Now, you can see here, this is the Wharfedale Denton 80th anniversary there, and this is the original Denton here. Now, looking at the veneer there, it looks similar to that. However, looking at the badge, it looks similar to that. And also, I think what the giveaway is the way the speaker cover sits. Can you see that gap going around the speaker cover? Well, that has a gap going around it. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's definitely a Denton, but I do think it's the Wharfedale 80th anniversary Dentons, not the old ones. Now, I had a hard time with the amp. You can see from this picture just how grainy that picture is. It's difficult to get a bearing on it, but I did eventually find it. I think I matched it up pretty well, and I'm quite confident that it's this. It's the Pioneer SX3700. I'm pretty confident it is. This it's a beautiful looking thing, I got to say, and I think this was coming to the end of the golden era of Pioneer. They used to make some outstanding amps in the 70s. And into the early 80s, then from 82, 83, they started changing the design of the amps. And I think the newer amps in 83 onwards didn't look as good as these ones, because I just think it's beautiful looking. Okay, they've got the more modern digital readouts here, digital tuner, digital power meter. I prefer the old type, but I suppose at the time this was pretty cool to have. Got the tuning knob here, power, the headphones, bass, treble. Got a subsonic filter here, so that cuts off at 15 hertz. So he probably would use this if he was a real person. He plays old records, like I said before, so using a subsonic filter would help with them older records if they got a bit of rumble on them or are a bit warped. So you just flick it down there and it cuts the frequencies off below 15 hertz. Then you got the tape monitor 1 and 2, balance. You got your FM muting. This obviously from stereo to mono. If you get a bit of a dodgy signal, it's a bit hissy, you can flick that across to mono to clear it up. Loudness, like to see a loudness. And your volume button here. Here's your inputs, FM, AM, auxiliary, phono, A and B speakers. Right, let's have a look at the back. So on the back, you've got your antenna connections here, aerial connections. It's obscured here by the aerial here, by the medium wave aerial, I think. But that's the phono stage with the ground screw, and I'm sure he's using the phono stage in this amp in that scene. That's the auxiliary, tape 1, tape 2. Got the clippy binding post, not a fan of, but you know, they got A and B speakers. You can hook up 4 speakers And like the McIntosh amp, it does have some AC outlets, so you can connect these to another device, so you don't have to plug them into a wall outlet. Now, this is interesting. AM stereo out. Now, AM stereo must have passed me by because I wasn't aware of this. But apparently, from what I just quickly researched, a quick Google search, AM stereo didn't really take off. So this would connect to an AM stereo adapter for AM stereo broadcasts, but it wasn't particularly good, and FM was a lot better, so I think it just died a death. So that's probably why I'd never heard of it. But there we are, it's on there. And there you go. So you can tell he's a vinyl buff, loves his jazz, playing old records and things like that. Got some decent equipment, some vintage stuff there. Still not sure about those Dentons, whether it's the old ones or the new ones. Let me know in the comment section. If you got it this far, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, and I'll catch you in the next one.